Hello, this is Wrestling Fan, and I'm actually speaking on all the wrestling fans around the globe, around this planet Earth. I'm actually doing this video to call out or to petition and ask a favor to Retro Mike there. So, Retro Mike and the rest of the team who's behind this wonderful game known as Retro Wrestling, ever since we've gotten this months ago, this tremendously actually captured the hearts of all wrestling fans. Why? It's because this has actually brought the same old game, the fun, and actually the love that we had way back in the WrestleFest days. Don't get me wrong, I love this one. And even actually in this 2D platformer, wow, it really gave you the vibe of that game way back in the 80s. But of course, since all of us that I'm actually representing are not the usual wrestling fans of today, but we are actually been actually furnished and we were actually galvanized way back when wrestling was actually in its glorious days, from the attitude to the ruthless aggression and so on. So to make this game a lot more better, I heard a lot of fans and you, Retro Mike, asking for some suggestions coming from real wrestling fans, just like myself and the rest of the wrestling fans around the world. I'm asking if you could please add additional wrestlers wherein infringement or copyrights might not be a problem. If I may, maybe it's possible if we try to incorporate wrestlers like Lance Storm, Balls Mahoney, Hardcore Hack, Kid Cash, and the late Public Enemy. Since you have the Legion of Doom here, why not come up with Flyboy Rocco and Johnny Grunge? And of course, my favorite, Johnny Flamingo. Well, if it's better if you can actually come up with Scotty Raven and without any problems, well, that's better. Well, okay, so additional characters is all we ask. Right now, yes, you gave us a nice roster, but we need more. Isn't it that is what wrestling is all about, right? Retro Mike and the rest of the Retromania team. And of course, aside from that, playability. I have to give credit. This is so nice. Easy to execute moves. But if you are a wrestling fan, we all know a wrestling game will never be a wrestling game unless there's a good submission system, okay? Well, if you could actually try to come up with a submission system that is pretty much quite realistic and unpredictable. You know what I mean? If a wrestling game has this kind of mode or this kind of situation where you don't know when will a wrestler tap, that adds excitement. Isn't it that the very reason why we watch wrestling? It's because of it, the unpredictability, something that has been missing for the past years when it comes to wrestling games. Retro Mike, unpredictability of submission moves is pretty good. I know you know what I mean. So, for now, this is Wrestling Fan saying Retro Mike and the rest of the Retromania team, I hope you would somehow be able to grant some of my wishes and the rest of the other wrestling fans around the planet.